Rev It Up Racing has rapidly expanded its depth by producing quality content with your #1 coverage in Michigan and Ontario, and so we have added Rev It Up Racing Radio to our racing media platform. Rev It Up Racing Radio is your short track racing grassroots coverage in late model, modified, ABC stock car, street stock, and four-cylinder divisions. Listen weekly for short track news, rankings, schedules, and driver interviews.
We're here for this week's edition of the Rev It Up Racing Radio with our guests from the 2017 4th Annual Hotshoe 100 recap. Josh Ware, who drives the number 7W, driver Buddy Gray of the 24JR, and event promoter of the Hotshoe, Bud Gray. Hope everybody enjoys the show. Good day, everyone. We are here with Josh Ware of the number 7 modified. How are you today, Josh?
Doing good, you?
Good. Like I said, coming off the Hotshoe 100, not the exact finish you wanted Saturday evening. Like I say, with 50 laps, you were right behind Brian Nestor, who eventually won the race, and with a number of cautions in the second half of the 100 laps. If you and Travis Eddy didn't tap on the 94th lap, do you think you would have had a chance of catching Brian?
No. Brian was I had a second or a third place car. I was content with that. Car just wore itself out too quick, and what do? You miss the setup a little bit, and the guy that nails the setup does that much better.
And like I say, that night from green to checkered, he was sitting up front, and it was like you said, to me, you or Travis were the only two who even had a chance catching him that night, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And now, like you say, got a little banged up, and is the car ready to go for the next coming race?
I'm working on it. It's a process. I'm super busy at work right now, so you gotta work to pay all the bills to go play and have fun. So
totally understand.
And this rain that we're having is not helping.
Now, with the Hotshoe, like you say, it's a race that for cancer, and there's different divisions. And you with the modified division, can you just talk a little bit about your thoughts about the overall 2017 Hotshoe?
It was a great thing for a great cause. Bunch of great people. You just go there. It was all in all a pretty good weekend. I mean, other than me and a little rubbing with Travis there. Still him being a great friend. Hopefully he's still a great friend. I mean, it's just a phenomenal thing that many people can come together for that kind of a cause, and it is a very good cause. It helps all the research and helps people with cancer. It helps them, get hotel rooms for treatments, and just it's a great cause.
Now, like say this past weekend at Hotshoe at Whittemore Speedway in Michigan, there's 48 mods, and now with the way the race is growing, do you think that the competition is going to get better every year?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, it's gotten tremendously better over the last 3 years. I can't imagine what the next 4 or 5 are going to bring.
And the 7W is going to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. With bells on.
Exactly. Now for the 7W, what's next for you coming up?
I hope on away Saturday if I can get off work. I don't know if I'll be able to make it down there in time, but I hope to be able to maybe at least run a feature. Kinross, I'll probably be working, so unless for some reason we're off early. It's kind of it's going to slow down for me for racing for the next month or so. I'm in the process of moving, and I got some plans coming up to race here in Florida this winter, so I definitely got to save up to go down there. So.
And again, racing not overly a cheap sport, right?
No. Yeah, but when you do good, it definitely does help. This year definitely has helped a little better than the past with the learning curve, and now that I got a little handle on the car and doing better, it's definitely helped out for sure.
Now, like I ask all the racers when I do talk to them, like you say, not just for just the Hotshoe, but for the season up to now, who's helped you to get to where you are now, and who'd you like to thank?
I want to thank one of my great friends, Keith King, Jesse Witcher, Kevin Arrington, Tyler Rye, my parents, my son, my girlfriend. I mean, just there's a long list. you know, all my racing friends that I race with, they're all great competitors, and I mean, they're all clean racers. I don't know of anyone that would intentionally, well, maybe one or two that might intentionally damage a race vehicle, but all the guys I race with on a normal basis would never even think of that because they know what it takes also. But yeah, I got a couple of great friends that come and do some great things with me. And I mean, you know, some of my friends I didn't put in my own race car. There's guys that out there that you would trust like that. And I've told them that they know who they are. So.
Oh, and that proved it. That proved it Saturday night at Whittemore. I was like say after it all happened, I came down into the pits and like say I think everybody thought you were probably putting the car away in the trailer after what happened there, but you probably had 20 people around the car, and out of the 20 people, 17 of them were probably other drivers that were finished or but still going. Grant Howard, for instance, like say was in his car, he came over and helped you get back on the track. So it shows that anybody's willing to help, and almost anybody's willing to help anybody, right?
Yeah. The racing family is a pretty close family. I mean, you have better friends out there, I guess, than say others, but everyone for the most part, I mean, everyone converses and everyone knows each other and respects one another for the most part. But there is a few guys that really put a lot of help and effort into it, you know, and those are true friends right there. They're hard to come by. I mean, and I do a lot of the stuff myself. I do a lot of the traveling myself. I go a lot of races myself just because some of my friends can't make it, you know, but that's what I like to do. And I've been fortunate enough to take my son to a couple real big races this year, which he's really enjoyed, and he had a ball this weekend. So that there was a win in my eyes right there. So.
Oh, and that's exactly it. Like after the race, I got your onboard footage, and we were watching the computer there, and he again I think he's 13. You said.
Yep.
And being 13, he had his own reasonings and what happened and why you two rubbed tires. And being 13, you could tell you could tell he was right into it, and he was excited about the race.
Yep, and we had that discussion at dinner time tonight. It also came up about whose fault he thought it was and what could have been done differently. And oh yeah, he had his own thoughts, and it was good to hear that
and
too.
Say,
so, but he was also
go ahead.
He was also very concerned about mine and Travis's condition after the race or after the crash too.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted to make sure everyone was okay and no one was really hurt, and that concerned him too. So
and of course at dinner he didn't blame Dad, right?
No. It actually got blamed on 2 or 3 other people, but.
And that, like you say, but that it's fun for me being a father. Also, it's fun having the kids involved with what you're doing, right?
Yep. And there was more than one kid there. You know, there was quite a few kids, and my buddy Todd Jackson's kids were there, and they actually helped out. I think some in the pit admission office and hand out transponders, and they were pretty busy. I mean, my boys slept pretty good every night. So.
and that wasn't to the partying, right? That was to the helping out, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah, and that shows, and that goes back to racing, the racing family, but also what the Hotshoe means to not just the racers, but to the fans and the crews, what it means for the Grays and everybody else who puts it on, what it does for the event, right?
Yeah, great family, great event. I mean, Bud, that's who got me into a modified after my late model kind of little career that I had, but I wouldn't turn down a late model ride, but I would probably never leave modifieds now that having air in my face and the people that I race against, the family that I've become with them, and just, I mean, everyone from here to Florida and Indiana and Ohio and all over the place. They're just great people. You know, you can bounce around from campsite to campsite and you hear 13 different stories in an hour's time. You know, it's a really good time.
Well, and that's, I use an example. My wife says I talk to everybody, and standing up in the pits, like say covering the stuff for Rev It Up Racing, and I talked to Sean McPherson's family. I talked to Bob Sibila's owners, and just talking to the different stories they have and just where they've been. And again, like for Bob, like his owners, again, you've raced against Bob, and with the owners, just different stories there, and all the different stories that people have when it comes to the racetrack and racing.
Right. I mean, everyone's got their own outlook, but I mean, for the most part, everyone's there for the same reason: have fun and try to do the best they can.
Yeah, and with the Hotshoe, that that $5,000 check doesn't hurt either, does it?
No, that doesn't hurt at all.
Understandable.
I had it all in my grasp, but yeah, I wasn't that car.
Yeah.
But I did learn a lot. So next year's going to be definitely a new thing.
Well, thank you very much, Josh, and we'll talk soon, and we'll see you at the track very soon.
Sounds good, Jay. Thanks.
We'll talk to you later.
All right.
We're here with Bud Gray, one of the organizers of the 4th annual Hotshoe at the Whittemore Speedway. How are you today, Bud?
Very good.
Now, with this past weekend's the race at the Hotshoe in the 4th annual event, you had 48 mods, you had 30 ABCs, and 28 front-wheel drives this year in the Hotshoe. How impressed were you about the turnout at Whittemore this weekend?
We were pleased with it. We actually had 54 teams, modified teams, order tires, and some of them didn't make it. Obviously, not sure what happened there, but we base our whole program off of having 40 cars. If we get 40 cars, we can do what we do, and so we exceeded that, and it was record year for us for sure.
And with you had Brian Nestor of Hamilton, Indiana. He took in the mod division, took home 5,000, and then you had Dave Christensen in the mod B main, and Todd Jackson from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan in the ABC A and ABC B. Keith McBee of Charlevoix, and rounding out the Ford front wheel drive main was Trent Fenner. So again, different names, different areas coming from the Midwest. So people came from all over for this year's event.
Yeah, no, it was great. We had drivers from in the mod division. I'm not sure about in the other classes there, but in the mod division, I think we had drivers from 4 different states in Canada. And we had some guys coming from West Virginia, and there was 4 of them actually coming from there. And the guy that kind of heads up that group, his wife had made a surprise birthday party for his daughter that he didn't know nothing about, and he couldn't get out of it. So that kind of put the kibosh.
So blaming the wife again, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You have to. If not, like you say, there'd be something wrong. Now, in the mod division, like I said, I was just talking to Josh, and he was involved in it. Like I say, on the 94th lap, him and Travis Eddy and 6 other cars got a little tied up going into the last 6 laps, but we were watching the race from down below, and Brian Nestor, who eventually went from the green to the checkered, leading in the number 11, he was clocking laps at 13.907 late in the race. Does that usually happen at that late in the race? And can you comment on Nestor's performance in the whole overall race?
Well, I mean, it's just a testament to their cars. I mean, they build a very good race car. I mean, that's the kind of chassis that I have. My boy has. Josh Ware has one. They just work good. They don't fall off. And it's a couple of years back when Brian won the race, he ran the fastest lap of the race on lap 94. So it wasn't something out of the ordinary. I mean, it's a common thing for those guys, and just a great testament to their cars.
No, and this is more talking as you as a pit crew compared to being an organizer. It's not the exact finish you guys wanted with, like, say, the 24 JR with Buddy Gray, the 4th, running it. But can you just talk a little bit about Buddy's race, if, like, say, what you got to see or what you heard about his race in the modified A?
Yeah, the whole deal with qualifying there, when they went out and went their warm-up laps, I mean, Buddy turned his lap in the scuff session there for the tires. He turned the lap fast enough that would have been fast time in the race, or for the race. But then coming back in, and then everybody going out for single car qualifying like that, the tires didn't size up just right. Whatever happened there, but he lost some speed there when he qualified, so he got started at the rear of the field there and was running good there at first. Past few cars there right off the get-go, just kind of riding, until the halfway point. And a wreck happened down in turn 2, and he stopped, avoided the wreck, and in the process of avoiding the wreck there, somebody else hit him in the right front wheel, so he had to go to the pits and get a tire, and it knocked the toe out, bent the steering arm and stuff on the car, so, he ran the last, 80, 90 laps of the race with the car towed in, and and it was wasn't much of a factor after that. But
go ahead.
Stayed out, completed the whole race, and brought home a 12th place finish. I mean, not bad out of 48 cars, but not as good as what he was hoping for.
And that's exactly like I talked to him after the race there, and I said to him, he races Whittemore when he can, but I said to him, last 2 years with the Hotshoe and rubber just haven't, like I say, last year he had a tire go down, and then this year tire go down, and I said almost in the same spot. So I said to him, I said there's something about that area of the track that he's got to stay away from when it comes to the Hotshoe, because like I say, I know it wasn't him, but it's just things do happen, and when you have 24 cars racing for a $5,000 purse, it's I guess you say, being honest, it's almost balls to the wall, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's the top 24 cars separated by 0.26 seconds. That's crazy. I mean, that's not because it's my event, but it's that's probably one of the toughest races in the country just to make, and very, very, very stout field of cars for sure.
Well, and that's a testament, like to talking to Josh Ware, about the competition that came, and like you say, two cars from Florida, and you say 4 different states and all over Canada. I said to Josh, I said the competition is just going to get bigger and better every year, and it's something that it shows what the work that you guys are doing for the race, but also for like say for the Crusaders for cancer, that the drivers are coming again for the money, but they're coming to support the incredible event that's happening at Whittemore every year.
Yeah. No, that's the support that we've gotten from the drivers here over the last couple of years, or the last 4 years now. It's it's overwhelming. I mean, I think we were in the neighborhood of like $24,000 something that we generated, and this year we ended up with like just over $5,400 that we're going to give to the Northern Michigan Cancer Crusaders, and then $500 to the American Riders there at the American Legion Post out of Boyne City. And it's it's pretty. It's a lot of work. I mean, don't get me wrong in that part, but I love doing it, and I love racing, and to give back to the community like that, and give back to the racing community like we're able to do by having a big purse and the big start money and stuff. It don't get no better for me. I mean, that's exactly. It's turned into exactly what I wanted it to be. I never thought it would get to this, but it's turned into what I wanted it to be.
And with only being 4 days out, have you had a day to relax yet since it's finished?
Well, we got home on Sunday and unloaded and went to work Monday.
Yeah.
We're in the process of rebuilding all the stuff there that we got tore up on Buddy's car there, so we can run Sunday at the Kinross, and we just got that finished up here tonight, just in the last few minutes here. We just got done with that. And tomorrow we're going to have a relaxing day. Tomorrow we're going to get done with work, and we're going to go up to our cabin in EUP and then just kick back and chill.
And then again, it's like anything else, and then you give it like a few weeks off, and it's great, an incredible event, but within the next 2 months, you start planning for next year already for 2018, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it's not even the next 2 months. We've already got some stuff in the works right now, and we actually got a pretty good line on a really nice sponsor there. I hope that we'll be able to announce something about that here before long, and that'll be, if that goes through there, next year it'll be off the charts.
Well, and I know for a fact on Saturday's drivers meeting, just little, I guess say tidbits or whatever, drivers coming off the grandstands there in the pits and talking about what you guys are just talking about next year. They were pumped just to hear about the ideas that are going to possibly happen next year. And they were already talking about next year's event, and this year's event wasn't even finished yet. So they're quite excited about it for 2018.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, the support. I mean, we've no negative feedback at all. I mean, it's been, most everything's been positive. There was probably the worst thing for the whole weekend was the tire impound deal, trying to curb anybody, taking a chance of soaking their tires. And first time we ever did it, so we had some blunders in that, that we got to work through, but we got a pretty good handle on it now, how we'll do that, to make that work a lot better. And other than a little bit of the rain that we had, the weekend could not have went any better.
Well, exactly, and that's when I was talking to Kim on Friday and that, and she says 99% of the drivers and the crew were happy, and I said, well, is there any problem? She goes, it's just the little things. It's like, again, just little minor things. And I said to her, 99% of people are happy. You guys as organizers doing something right for an event that's bringing close to 100 cars to a small track.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. And we try to make it a point. I mean, to listen to what the guys want and do what they, try to. Obviously, you can't accommodate them all, but try to take the majority of them. And this year, a couple guys didn't like the fact that there was transfer races. But the last couple of years, we had the transfer races, and nobody opted to transfer to the A. They just took the money and went home. And so this year, we went without it. Sounds like next year we'll probably end up doing some transfer races again, just because that's what the drivers seem to want more of. So
yep,
that we'll be a little more accommodating to them on that. And next year it'll be awesome. You won't want to miss it for sure.
Now, the last question I'd like to ask is, who would you like to thank on behalf of yourself and the Hotshoe Committee?
Oh, God, first and foremost, God, obviously, for giving me the opportunity to be alive to do this. But, my family, my wife for putting up with all this. And, she works herself right to the bone when we're down there. And, my dad and stepmom there. And then, my kids. And then, obviously, all the drivers. If they didn't show up, we wouldn't have what we have. And the Whittemore Speedway, the whole deal down there, those guys have... they really stepped up to the plate, as far as trying to help out and getting some things going. Mike Provost, Ryan Ostrander, Andy Hess, those guys down there, Bob Leslie, those guys, they went above and beyond, this year, really trying to help out. And everything turned out great. The pit party there was awesome on Friday night, and the carnival there for the kids. Lots of kids had a lot of fun doing that bounce house and all that stuff this year. Give the mom something to do with the kids instead of just sitting there all day at the camper. And it was, I can't, I know I'm forgetting some people for sure, but, obviously all of our sponsors. It's, this year we more than tripled our sponsor money that we've gotten in the last few years. And, it really helped, paid off huge, for the drivers this year. And it's, some of those guys here, we've already been in contact with them, or they've already been in contact with us, I should say, and, they're on board for next year. I had a guy approach me today about doing some stuff like a pay-per-view deal for next year, and so I don't really know much about the technical side of things or whatever. I don't know how that stuff all works, but he said that he would run into me at Winchester and knock over there, and he would have it all spelled out how it all works, the way it's supposed to go. And that's something that we're going to talk about, maybe doing a pay-per-view thing, and it'll be, try to get it out there so more and more people can see it.
Oh, and it takes the event to the next level, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. If you can start getting something like that, that type of deal, you start getting up in the ranks of doing that stuff. With the Kalamazoo Clash and, Winchester 400, that kind of stuff, you start getting up into some of the more prestigious races or whatever. I'd like to be mentioned in the same conversation as those races. It's be an honor and a half to have that.
And not that the Hotshoe's not on the map now, but something like that would surely put the Hotshoe right on the map with that type of coverage, right? Yeah,
for sure. And it just helps everybody involved. It helps the racers, their sponsors. Everybody, and it's huge. That'd be a big step for us.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Bud, and hopefully we see you at the track at Kinross on Sunday.
Yep, we'll be there. Sure as we are standing.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jay. Yeah, that's fine.
So we're here with Buddy Gray Jr. of the 24JR. How are you today, buddy?
Doing very good, thank you, Jay.
Good, and like I say, your dad was saying you guys just got out of the garage. Like I say, wrapping up from the Hotshoe about fixing the 24JR from the weekend. Not exactly the finish you wanted on August 12th at Whittemore, but can you talk a little bit about the 24, the handling of the car, and what happened at the Hotshoe 100?
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good car throughout the weekend. I think it could have been better if we weren't so focused on putting on the race, first of all. But we had fun and we had a pretty good car. But in the race, we were moving forward past a couple cars and ended up getting caught up in someone else's misfortune. But it's racing, that happens, and putting on old tires and having a torn up race car and still go from 23rd to 12th is. I look at it as it's almost a win in itself right there. So, we had fun.
And that's where I said to your dad is, and I said to you after the race in the pits is, again, you race the Hotshoe and that, but the last 2 years, something about you and Rubber just don't get along with having a flat both seasons. It's something that I don't know if you should stay out of certain corners or whatever, but it's just you and the Hotshoe and getting flats, eh?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those years or just it's that race has kind of plagued me, but it's got my number for sure. We definitely put a lot of effort into it, and it can be disheartening at times when you have something out of your control like that, have it taken away from you. But like I said, it's racing, and we'll fix it up and go at it again next year and next weekend even. So not much you can do about it.
And something that I talked to your dad, not because your family hosts it and puts on the Hotshoe, but I mentioned to your dad with almost 100 cars there, not just in the modified division, but with you as more coming from the driver's side than the gray side, what is your overall thoughts about this year's Hotshoe at the Whittemore Speedway?
Well, I know. I mean, I guess I'm pretty biased about it, but to look at it as a racer standpoint, I mean, it's pretty incredible when we rolled in there on Thursday, and you already see 30 modified teams already ready just for practice. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's a really big event, and it's pretty cool to see what it's came from. And you don't get the opportunity to race for money like this and against the competition like this. So it's definitely an event and something that not only I, but I think other people and other racers look forward to as well.
Oh, and like I was just talking to your dad and saying, drivers coming from four different states. Again, there was a plan about cars coming from West Virginia, but things did happen there, and cars from Florida and Ontario, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, where it's starting. The Hotshoes being, not that it's already on the map, but it's being put on the map bigger and bigger every year for drivers are putting it on the calendar going, we got to be in Whittemore for the Hotshoe.
Right. No, it's we're definitely very thankful for what it's become, and I mean, it definitely. When you look at a race like the B Main on Saturday, I mean, that was one of the best races I've ever seen, and a very stout-filled cars for a B Main. And then you look at the A Main, and every single car that was out there deserved to be there, and they were all very good cars. So it's definitely something that, like I said, it's really been making an exclamation point on the map here as of late. So it's a pretty cool deal, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
Oh, and with the B Main, and there's drivers where who race a lot in the Midwest or in Michigan who are usually within the top 4 or 5 at most tracks, ended up in the B Main at the Hotshoe just because of, again, the competition, how big and strong the competition is becoming at Hotshoe, right?
That's exactly it. No, I mean, like I said, that was one of the best field of cars I've ever seen for a B Main. I mean, it just shows you how tight the competition is, and I mean, when you show up, you have to be on your game, and it shows you that whoever comes out on top has really been doing their homework and really is on top of things. So it's a cool deal, and it really makes for some good racing when everyone's that competitive.
And like we have talked, you've been on the go, like say being 19, and still young, but being on the go since May 2017, and up until this weekend, you've had a busy summer so far, and you had said to me, like at the Hotshoe, like say eventually you're going to be able to try to take a break one weekend, but you're going to be at Kinross this weekend. What's next for the 24 JR after Kinross for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we got a couple races up at Kinross and a few more races at Onaway and Whittemore. But then in a couple weeks, we're going to be making a trip down to Midvale, Ohio, for they have a big modified show down there. And then I think we're going to make the trip to Winchester, Indiana, at the beginning of October for a couple races down there. So those are a couple big shows, along with some of the stuff we got running around here. So that'll pretty much take up the rest of our season.
Then I don't mean where we live, but unfortunately, then you got to put the car in the trailer because the snow starts to fall, right?
Oh, right. No, that's always a bummer deal when that snow starts to fall and you know the season's over. But who knows? Maybe we'll make a trip again this year, like we did last year for the Snowball Derby, or maybe even somewhere else like Alabama or something. You know, maybe maybe it's in the cards this year, maybe not, but it's one of those things we'll get to it when we get to it. So hopefully it is. I really like to make a trip and run with those Southern guys, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes.
And like how I finish most, like you say, most interviews and stuff like that, and I ask most racers, who helped you get to the Hotshoe, and who'd you like to thank overall?
First and foremost, I got to thank my dad. He really puts a lot of time into it with me, especially coordinating the whole Hotshoe itself, and just being a part of that together, and fielding a competitive car in that race is something special. My grandparents, they helped me a lot, along with putting on the race. And Burgomaster Race Cars helped me out a lot this weekend, and every weekend. They do a lot for me, and all my sponsors. I mean, Brian Frost Landscaping, Nash Builders, Price Builders, Harbor Fence, Mitchell Street Market. There's more to name, but I can't name them all because there's too many. So all those guys, they really deserve a thanks, and can't thank them enough for all that they do to get me to places where I go.
And the one question is, I was just talking to Josh, and I asked him, being before the 94th lap, he was looking at the back of Brian Nestor, who went from green to checkered first overall. Again, I know you're in the car in that, but I had said to your dad and also to Josh, is like, say, on the 94th lap, he had a 13.9, and to be, like, say, start to finish leading the race. Can you just talk a little bit about Nestor's race from your point of view? What, like you say, how you thought he did?
Well, first of all, Brian is a very smart racer. He's been doing it for a long time. He definitely knows what he's doing, not only racing the cars, but building them as well. And he knows what the Hotshoe is about. It's a 100-lap race. At the end of the race, the best car wins. And as we saw this year, there was quite a few mishaps in the race, and he was smart enough to play his cards right and get out front and run the best he could. And he's got it figured out for sure. And we all keep trying to chase him every week, and he's got it figured out. But Josh did a good job this weekend by stepping closer to that. He laid down some pretty good lap times, and it was fun to be able to just run with those guys, and have a good competitive car to be able to say I got to run with the best of the best.
Oh, and that's exactly, and like you said, I'm not trying to, and like I said, I don't know Brian personally, but you say, like, again, he's been racing for years, so with that experience and with the 100-lap race, it's something, again, you're only 19, so to get to his level by the time you're his age, like you say, you know where you're headed, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I can only aspire to be like someone like Brian or Josh or whoever it may be. All those guys have been doing it for a long time, and it's to know that I can be on the same playing field as those guys is it's good to know that. It makes me feel good that I can run with the best of them, and that the future is yet to come, and hopefully the best is yet to come. So we're young and we keep trying, but it'll all work out, we'll get there.
And being 19 is, like you say, without the mishaps this week in the Hotshoe, but being 19, the results you've had this season, and you're always within, like say, you are winning features throughout the season, but to be driving right along those sides, it's just confidence for yourself, right?
Oh, for sure. No, we've had some pretty good runs with some of the best. It's been one of those years we haven't quite had the best luck this year, but we've been very competitive and been running up front everywhere we go, and it's if anything, it's a confidence booster to know that we can run with these guys. And like I said, hopefully the best is yet to come in the future, and maybe get some bigger wins on bigger stages like the Hotshoe.
Oh, and I use going into this weekend at Kinross, and then let's say next weekend at Onaway. And Onaway, you're only sitting 2 points behind Josh Ware at Onaway, so it's something like. So you're sitting that close to Josh, and like say, hopefully you can catch him next Saturday on the 26th at Onaway.
Yeah, hopefully Josh is always a good runner, and we go there. We're not really focused on any points per se, but we go there to win races, and whatever happens. So we go out there, and hopefully we can catch the checkered flag first and be there at the end.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and good luck on the rest of the season. Hopefully we can talk soon.
All right, sounds good, Jay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as I said to your dad, as soon as I get it all edited, if it's not tonight, it'll be first thing in the morning, and I'll tag you right away in it, and I'll let you know, and hopefully we can do it just before going into the Invitational if possible.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
I'd look forward to that.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
So,
We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye.
Nobody gets you closer to the action than Rev It Up Racing. For all your short track racing and late model, modified, ABC stock cars, street stocks, and 4-cylinder division, visit revitupracing.net for all your racing coverage.